So this week has a couple signatures alone that I want to kind of start out with as overall themes. So we have Mercury under the spell of the sun. It's coming, it's under the beams of the sun, and it's within this place that it's being overwashed and taken over by the sun, coming into the conjunction later on this week. And then we also have Mars and Venus sitting within 3 to 4 degrees of each other all of this week. This is the closest that the two of the planets are going to get, is about this 3-degree range. So Mars and Venus have been moving through the sign of Leo together. We know that Venus is going to be in Leo for quite a while, much longer than Mars is going to, but the two are working really, really closely together in not an exact conjunction. You have this connection and this union of the divine masculine and the divine feminine together within the fiery sign of Leo. And this is going to be a theme that we have for a few weeks here. And this is going to be that fire and that ambition and that drive that you're feeling. This is going to be where that energy is coming from within the sign of Leo. So pay much attention to where the sign of Leo is in your chart, because that's going to be playing key here over the rest of the summer here. We start off Sunday right away with a square between Mercury in the sign of Gemini and Neptune in the sign of Pisces at 27 degrees. So this aspect, it can either bring a fogginess and a deception of the mind, or it can also bring a connection and a clarity with sort of like a universal conscious connection if you decide to go that route with it. Bringing these two planets together, especially within an air sign, Mercury in the sign of Gemini, and a water sign, Neptune in the sign of Pisces, it offers you this chance to collect something and collect and connect two things that might not have been quite connected before. So these are two malleable signs. We have air and we have water. Both are flowing and both are movable and malleable. So you have this opportunity to bring the two together if you decide to take a little action and put a little bit of work into it. Squares are not going to be easy aspects necessarily and flowy and easy coming like a sextile or a trine. It takes a little bit of work, but the efforts that come from it, or the fruits that come from your efforts, are well worth it. Neptune, especially within the sign of Pisces, is very much an artistic expression. It's very like inspirational and very imaginative. So connecting with our mind, connecting with Mercury, it gives us this chance to kind of dream big and to bring forward like grandiose ideas that, as long as they're obtainable, it allows us to kind of put our head in the clouds a little bit here. We still have the aspect between Jupiter and Saturn, and with Saturn also being in Pisces, I feel like it grounds this aspect just a little bit. So it's like Mercury and Neptune allow you to kind of have your heads in the clouds, while Jupiter and Saturn are still kind of grounding you and holding you within this earthly realm within the sign of Taurus, and Saturn sitting right there in Pisces with Neptune. About 1 o'clock p.m. Eastern time on Sunday, you're going to have the moon that's going to hit 27 degrees of Virgo. So right before it moves into the sign of Libra, around 7 p.m. Eastern time, you'll have to translate your own times if you're not in the Eastern time zone where I am. You're going to have this period in the afternoon where the moon is going to be sitting at 27 degrees of Virgo. So it's going to be sitting in opposition with Neptune, while Mercury is sitting in a square aspect with Neptune. And then the moon will also be in a square to Mercury as well. So I find it interesting that we'll have this point during the day where Mercury and the moon, which are the two closest celestial bodies to Earth. So, it's the two bodies that are closest to us, right? It's our body and it's our mind. It's the changeability that reflects like the changeability and the flexibility of that our life surrounds. I feel like it really brings in us a chance for us to connect to this artistic expression of Neptune within the sign of Pisces, especially when the moon is right there. So Sunday, lots of time for inspiration, lots of time for looking, come up with those brainstorming ideas, come up with those big dreams as long as they're obtainable. Dream big and fly with it for a little while. If you're looking for connection, it's a spirit. If you're into the spirituality part of it, I think it's a great day to meditate and look for that collective consciousness. Look for that connection to the divine energy that is around us. You will most certainly find it. On Monday, with the moon in the sign of Libra, we're going to have Mars in the sign of Leo squaring Uranus in the sign of Taurus at 21 degrees. So this aids in that ability to think outside of the box, and it kind of plays off of that Mercury-Neptune energy a little bit as far as like reaching for something that's kind of like just beyond, right? So Neptune brings around the possibility of deception and disillusion and things like that, because it lets things unravel, but you know, in a positive way, it lets things unravel so that way we can expand a little bit. When you're held within confines, it doesn't let you allow yourself to reach out. So when we allow our mind within Mercury to reach forward and you know, think outside of the box a little bit, and then Mars and Uranus come around, they're going to give you the inspiration, and they're going to give you that drive and the motivation, and maybe just that push to possibly reach forward and to grab that thing that you're thinking about the day before, right? So those Mars and Uranus are going to be in an applying aspect when Mercury and Uranus are exact. So you have first the prompt to kind of let your mind expand, and then you have the prompt to take the action to move forward with you know, maybe in this a little bit rebellious, instantaneous way, this little like little burst of energy of something that you might not normally do. Of course, that can always go too far too. So we have the negative aspects within this paradigm that we have through Sunday and Monday, and a little bit beyond that too. So, you know, if you let your mind go a little too far in a delusional sense, or maybe in like a negative coping sense, then, you know, you may be taking the actions and instead of leaning towards the inventive aspect of Uranus, you might lead more towards the rebellion and like pushing back aspect of Uranus here. So it's always relative to staying on the positive track and the conscious track here too, correct? And then Mercury is going to enter the sign of Cancer about 8:24 p.m. Eastern time. Again, translate to your own time zone. Mercury is going to stay in Cancer until July 11th. So it will touch any planets that you have in the sign of Cancer, and you know, this is the time of year that brings a focus to the area of our life where Cancer appears and where Cancer plays a role. We have the sun. We're going to have the Sun and Mercury both in the sign of Cancer, so you know, it's a good time to look at where Cancer is in your chart. What house? Does it fall in? What planets are there? What is your moon placement? Since the moon is the ruler of Cancer, those two areas will have a connection as well. All key areas with the Sun and Mercury in the sign of Cancer, and with you know, the Sun and Mercury conjunction coming up shortly after that as well, and the full moon in the sign of Cancer also. And as Mercury enters the sign of Cancer, it's going to make a sextile to the North Node in the sign of Taurus, and a trine to the South Node in the sign of Scorpio. So you know, this is quick moving, but it could be the kind of the pull of the feelings that you're feeling, of like the connection of where you want to go, and what you want to do, and the things you want to create. It can be a little bit of inspiring. It can be a little bit of a confidence booster in the plans and the actions that you want to take. So if you see that little inspiration like Monday into Tuesday, I would totally roll with that. And then rolling into Wednesday, as the moon moves into the sign of Scorpio, just before 5 a.m. Eastern time, it's going to conjoin the South Node, and it's going to oppose the North Node. So you have these couple nodal aspects here again, and you know, again, we're looking at Mercury and the moon, the two planets that are closest to us, very, very much relating to ourselves and our bodies here, and our just very much our physical being, and very much relating to this life rather than like the grand scheme of things. It carries over this energy that Mercury brings of like this inspiration and this just pulling you towards the path, or pulling you towards what you want to go to. So if you feel pulled towards a path, I would roll with it. You know, this is the very end of the Taurus Scorpio axis here, as the nodes are going to be switching into Aries and Libra. So what do you need to finish up? What do you need to leave behind? What have you completed your work with? What do you need to bring forward and bring into this next eclipse cycle that we're going to be working with within the sign of Aries and Libra? It's very much, it can be like a contemplation time, and like, it's like, okay, what has worked and what hasn't worked? What do I need to bring forward? What is serving me that I can bring with me? And what has come into completion? What it no longer is needed here. Just before 9:30 p.m. Eastern time on Wednesday, the moon will come into an opposition with Jupiter. Very much expansive, knowledge-based, positive abundance and blessings when you're in the right space. So this could be another little moment of positive inspiration. You know, we've mentioned this before about how the moon, for me, the moon aspects, they're triggers. So they're sensitive points to watch for, and they're magical points within the week if you're looking to bring that into your practice somehow, or bring some sort of ritual. These are moments that are nice to look at, or kind of like target points. Yeah, look at that, sensitive points and target points. After the moon opposes Jupiter on Thursday, it's going to oppose Uranus. So after having this like positive, expanding abundance, very much uplifting position with Jupiter, it's going to come into an opposition with Uranus. So, you know, a trigger of rebellion or inspiration, or like electrifying energy, like instantaneous energy almost. This is one that I would maybe watch out for little mishaps of some sort, but nothing that you need to be super fearful of or anything like that. I will hopefully never try to instill any sort of like fear mongering or anything like that. You see me do it, put me in check, please, because I don't ever want to do that. But definitely with the moon and Uranus in opposition, you know, inspiration's out of the norm. Could be a sensitive point. So, you know, like I said, just a time to remember, or if you're looking to bring in a little bit of electrifying energy, there's your point to use that within your own spiritual and magical practice that you have. On Friday, the moon enters Sagittarius at 11:20 p.m. Eastern Time, and Mercury in the sign of Cancer is also trining Saturn in the sign of Pisces at 7 degrees. So we have, so with Mercury here at the end of the week, we have like a boom, boom, boom. So we have on Friday where Mercury trines Saturn in the sign of Pisces at 7 degrees. And then on Saturday, still with the moon in the sign of Sagittarius, the sun and Mercury are going to conjoin at 8 degrees. So you have this you have this aspect with Saturn right away, and then you have the conjunction with the sun, and then right after that you have an aspect with Jupiter. So it's like boom, 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 boom. First, you have Mercury hitting this structural side that we've been looking at with Saturn and Jupiter and all of that. And then right after that, you have this seeding moment, this very like empowering moment where the sun comes into connection with Mercury and is at the heart of the sun, and it's just completely overtaken and energized by the sun. Mercury conjoining the sun, starting a new phase, moving into the evening star phase, moving from this like young, youthful phase into this more matured and experienced phase within the evening star phase. You know, we'll wait until we can see Mercury again in the night sky. With these aspects with Mercury here, so with Mercury and the Sun and Jupiter and the Saturn all intermingling and working together, you have earth, and you have water, and you have air. And then you have this connection within fire too of Mercury and Mars working together, where they're riding together all week long here. So all the focus we have on Mercury this week with, with the conjunction with the Sun and interacting with Saturn and Jupiter at the same time, there's lots of emphasis on this current cycle of Mercury that we have. This current cycle of Mercury started on May 1st. So, I want you to look back to since the beginning of May and see what has come up. What has Mercury brought into your life? What seeds have been planted? What have you felt drawn towards? This week feels very forward focused. And in fact, this week our intention is my efforts produce results. So, all of this work that you've been putting in, all of this prep and all of this practice, and all, even if it's all within your mind, if it's all airy mercurial, it's all going to pay off here at some point. So I feel like that's probably sooner rather than later. So, just keep stepping forward, and this week brings us some really, really great energy to play into. Look at those move moments and, play into them. Those are moments where maybe you could just set an alarm on your phone and just say a quick little prayer, or, do a quick little, whatever your quick little thing is. Nobody else has to notice that you're doing it. Or it can be a big ritual of some kind too as well, whatever works for you within your own life. So this is our astrology for the week. I hope you've really enjoyed this video, and I hope to see you on Tuesday during our live meditation. Every Tuesday night at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time, we have a live stream astrological meditation streamed to both YouTube and Facebook. So we hope to see you there. What we do is we bring the astrology that we've just talked about, and we review that a little bit, working with the intention of this week. my efforts produce results. We talk about it, we contemplate it, and then we meditate on it. So it's another really great way to bring this astrological energy into your week and to really work with and lean into those energies that are around us. So I really hope to see you there. Have a great week, and I'll see you next week.